Hey Matthew, this is Mr. Castellan. I just want to wrap up these calculator problems, and I want to be a little more clear on the intervals to use to get these to come out right. Now, he's telling you to use the calculator for these, we're not going to use inverse trigonometry. And we have specific intervals, for example, between 0 and 2 pi. Okay, so since we're using the calculator, we're going to graph these. For example, I'm going to graph 5 tan of theta plus 9, because I'm setting it equal to 0. And theta is just a variable. We can use x on our calculator to do that. All right, now when you're doing these, use zoom trig. So your units will be like pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2, 2 pi. Now, there's lots of solutions. Okay, now when you do the inverse tan of negative 9 over 5, you get this solution here on the negative side. Now the reason he marked that one off is it's not one of the two solutions between 0 and 2 pi. Okay, so to find those, what's helpful is go to Window, set your x minimum to 0, set your maximum to 2 pi. Notice 2 pi is like 6.3. We'll talk about that a little more in a second. Anyway, we'll go graph that. So here are the two solutions he was looking for. Now to find these exact values, remember you can do a second calc. Find your 0. That's where it crosses the x-axis. Left bound, right bound just means I want to find the 0 that's between here and here. So I can go between 0. Remember, we're counting by pi over 2, so the right bound I could use pi. Did that take it? Pi. Sorry, I'm having trouble with the mouse here. Right bound, we want that to be pi. There you go. When it says guess, just hit guess. And our first solution is 2.0779. All right, now let's go find the second one. Now here's what I was doing the other night that I wasn't quite sure why I was getting an error, but now I understand. I'm trying to find the second 0. I think I went between pi and 2 pi and it was giving me an error, I guess because we're not going all the, it doesn't like you to go all the way to the edge. I want you to be less than 2 pi. So here all I did was say we're calculating the 0. We're looking for the one on the right. Our left bound, let's make that. So we're going between here and here. So between pi, did it again. Let's try it this time. There we go, between pi and, instead of saying pi, which we just looked up as a little more than 6, I'm only going to go, we don't want to go all the way to 2 pi, so I'm going to just say my right bound is 6. And if I do that, we do get a right answer, which is the 5.2195. All right, so those were the two solutions he was looking for because he didn't want the negative one, he wanted the ones between 0 and 2 pi. Okay, so the rest of these problems should go better for you now. If you go to this one, we're going to do 3 sine of x. And this one's already solved for 0, so we're going to go -2. Must have hit the negative button. We're going to go -2. We're going to graph it. So we're looking for these two numbers. Now I noticed some didn't go quite right with your inverse calculation, because if we do the inverse sine of 2 over 3, in fact, let's do that quickly. Inverse sine of 2 divided by 3. We get a 0.7297, which is a little bit off here. I don't know if maybe you were using the arrow keys. All right, so go back to our graph. If we look for this solution, we're going to calculate our 0. Our left bound is 0. So between here and here, which is pi over 2. So pi divided by 2. And it says guess, just hit enter. And here's the same 0.7297. So I think for this one you get 0.7297, and this one over here is around 2.4. Anyway, so yes, you can use inverses, but he wants the specific solutions between 0 and 2 pi. So you need to set your domain and find those x-intercepts. Anyway, hope this helps. A lot of other stuff on that test we can talk about, so we'll see you on Thursday.